Chapter 8 Under the City. Jack was the first to land. He slid so long through the disgusting goop that he was relieved to have exited, even if it were not where he thought it would be. He landed on a grate that caught the water from the pipe and continued spilling out into another pipe just on the other side, which most likely led to the ocean. One by one, they landed on top of Jack. Everyone groaned, and rolled off of one another. El stood up without any effort. His body just rose like a straight object.
They aren't going to follow us through that pipe,
El said.
"Where are we?"
Soon asked.
"We're under the city, but it's too dark to see anything,"
Fobriz said.
"I have no problem seeing in the dark,"
El said.
"Tell us what you see,"
Jack said.
"For starters, I have to point out that they look afraid of us more than we do of them,"
El said.
"Wait, who's there?"
"Lots of them," El said.
"I want to see for myself."
A small flame appeared on one of Fobriz's outstretched palms. Normally, such a small fire wouldn't give off much light, but due to the complete and total absence of light of here, this tiny flicker illuminated all around them. Faces were all turned in their direction. Dozens, probably more than 100 people loomed at the edge of the darkness. Eyes from far off shined back at the flame's reflection.
"Who are you people?"
All of the strangers flinched back, and chains were heard rattling from the efforts.
"I had no idea the city prison kept descending down."
El shook his head.
"I don't think this is part of the standard city. I heard the guards talking as we went down. They're just as clueless as we are to this here."
Jack attempted to overcome his fear by making himself angry. He succeeded and copied what Soon was doing. He stepped close to one of the people to get a better look.
"Hey, listen. We won't hurt you. Why are you people down here?"
As the flame fully illuminated the person's face, Jack saw precisely what they were. The yellow skin made them unmistakable.
"Demon!"
Jack jumped back, raised his forearms defensively.
"We have to destroy them."
Soon grabbed Jack by one of his arms.
"Wait. They're wearing chains. I don't think they can hurt us."
Jack shook his head.
"We can't just let them—"
He couldn't make himself finish that sentence. He looked at their faces and could read their expressions. It said,
"Please don't kill me."
His eyes saw terror, fear, and worst of all, understanding. These yellow-skinned demons knew Jack wanted to kill them before he uttered a single word. He took a step back with a gasp.
"Demons? So they are real,"
Fobriz said. Soon inspected the chains.
"No doubt. We've all concluded that they're here against their will. The question is, why?"
Jack scanned the area, looking at how many there were. He could tell that there were other rooms that no doubt held more of those demons. He turned to one of them that was staring at him.
"How many of you are there?"
The demon cringed at the demand. Jack stepped in closer, placing a hand around his neck.
"I asked you a question. How many of you are there?"
He even brought the flame closer to the yellow face to threaten his demand. The demon lurched back, but had no way to escape.
"Hundreds!"
He gave in to Jack's demands.
"Oh, good. You can talk."
Jack did not relax. He tightened his grip.
"Now tell me, why are you here?" "Just kill me already."
Jack loosened his grip, if only out of surprise at the death wish. What's this? Why would you crave death? Then again, maybe I should kill you. Then again, having a demon under my command might be of great help.
"You're an elementalist."
And, Jack responded. After a moment, he sighed. He closed his eyes, focused, turned green, and then looked directly into their eyes, moving his face closer.
"How about now?"
It was the demon's turn to gasp.
"Prismatic."
It was merely a whisper, and yet every demon heard it. They all started murmuring. "It's true," one said. "After all these centuries," said another. "To be free." "Why would I free you? One of you destroyed my village and killed my entire family." "I think not." Jack let go of the demon by tossing him back against the rock he was chained to. "It worked," the prone demon said. Jack started to walk away, but those last words caught his attention. With bitter anger, he spun around, rushed to him, snatched up, and brought him as high as the chains would allow. "You've got my full attention now."
Jack, you're hurting him,
Soon said. Jack looked at the healer with a confused look of betrayal. His lips pursed to speak, but he could find no words. Soon gently took Jack's wrists and guided him to put the yellow person down.
Remember how you were arrested solely for helping Fobriz? This guy's done nothing to you.
"He's a demon," Jack said, yet didn't resist Soon's guidance to place him down.
Sure, yes, but he's pretty helpless like this.
Soon pointed at the demon.
What's your name? Unapi. Unapi, you clearly know something, so go ahead and just say it.
Soon said.
It would be easier to just show you. These chains prevent our magic from working.
Unapi said.
Good.
"We won't be tricked into taking those off," Jack declared. He looked at his comrades for confirmation. Everyone nodded. "I've seen firsthand, twice, what demon magic can do. They mind control."
Then what do we do?
El said. "I want to know why they kept you alive."
You sure you want to know?
Jack looked at El suspiciously. "Do you know?"
I can only speculate, and every conclusion I've reached isn't good.
Jack made a hurry-up motion with two of his hands. El sighed.
Come on, it's obvious. If it were obvious, I wouldn't have figured it out by now. Spit it out. Brask has the world's largest library that is ever expanding,
El said. Jack shrugged. Fobriz retched with annoyance. "Ugh! If the prismatic is this incapable of piecing together the obvious, then—" El interrupted him.
Then he's lucky to have us help him in his talent that he lacks.
Fobriz half frowned but nodded. El turned to Jack.
These demons are in captivity because they are the bookmakers.
Jack contorted his face in confusion. He looked at the demons. "Yellow magic?"
The books! They give off yellow magic, of course. How did I not see it sooner? That is what we were waiting for,
Unapi said. They jerked their foreheads in his direction.
Take this.
He produced the unmistakable orb that was a book and held it out for Jack to take.
This has to be some kind of trick,
Jack said.
no trick. We knew you would come,
Unapi said.
Why should I?
Jack asked.
Because in less than 1 minute, Brutus will open the iron door to our prison here, and he sees you. He will kill you. Take this book, read it later, make your own decision. Only you and I can save us. Go down the second drain. You must hurry.
El wasted no time. He was already at work breaking the gate open for them to pass. Jack looked at El and then back at Unapi. Then there was a loud unlocking sound from around the corner. Jack looked that way and knew Unapi spoke the truth. He looked back at El, who was already done opening the passage. El held out an outstretched talon, telling everyone to get in.
trust you, Jack said, but took the book anyway. Soon jumped down first, then Fobres, Elle, and Jack hesitated, looking back at the corner Brutus would walk from at any moment. He saw the big mystic shadow in sight. That was enough. Jack jumped down. Elle pulled the grate shut behind him and vanished. Brutus stepped into the room and walked past the demons. He went straight to the grates. He started to examine them in detail while rubbing his chin. The tunnel did not go a single direction. There were twists, turns, forks, and more. They discovered a massive network which one could deduce. Somehow L ended up in front. He was using his massive body to block the way, but not under him so water could still trickle down and not build up. He caught everyone. "Which way?" he asked. "We're all just as clueless as you, dude," Jack said. L shrugged, then he pivoted right, releasing the wall and forcing everyone to turn right. "I think no matter which way we exit, there will be guards there, and no doubt dozens more nearby ready to pounce us. We need to come up with something better than just exit one of these pipes outside." "This is hopeless," Fobres said. "Hey, cheer up. We still have a chance," Jack said. "Don't encourage me right now," Fobres said. "We have hope," Jack said. "Jack, shut up. He's trying to control the ground. The last thing he needs is hope right now," Soon said. "Oh, sorry." Fobers focused on a sad thought. Jack could only guess. Ground around them shook. L came to an abrupt stop. He could not move. The pipe itself had been crimped shut like a vice. Jack heard the same crunching sound behind. He turned and saw the same thing behind him. They were trapped. "What are you doing?" Jack screamed. "This," the red companion said. A massive sensation of movement was felt. Everyone buckled to one side of their enclosed tube as the force of movement pushed them. Then they felt the direction change. They hurled upward in an unseen direction. L burst out of the metal tube with his talons. He jumped out and looked around. The tube was half protruding out of the ground. He further inspected the surrounding area. They were nowhere near the ocean. They stood up on top of the mountains to the west of Rask. "It's safe to come out, everyone," L said. One by one they exited the makeshift vessel and each in turn examined their location. "I think you downplayed just how skilled you really are, Fobres," Jack commented. "I just clung to a hopeless situation was all. I kept imagining the guards just pointing their pikes, spears, and swords into the pipe, ready to skewer us without a chance." "I'm going to read this," Jack said, sitting on the rocky mountain. He held the orb that Unapi gave him. He closed his eyes. "Wait! You aren't actually thinking about reading that, are you?" Fobres asked. "Why wouldn't I?" Jack asked. "A demon gave it to you for starters." "They made every book." Jack waved his hand dismissively. "What's our next move?" El asked. Jack kept his eyes closed. "I'll tell you after I read this." The true story of General Oclanus, the first Prismatic. General Oclanus was the very example of what it meant to be a warrior. The Prismatic was the very example of what it meant to be a true mystic. The Prismatic mastered the elements, time, summoning, and healing magic. Oclanus was his sword and shield. Together they overcame the great threats. With an army of the 5 types of mystics, and with the help of every lunar shapeshifter, they stopped a true threat. A great monstrosity was unleashed. It ravaged the country, and would have ended all life should Oclanus and the Prismatic have not stopped it. All celebrated the defeat of this great monster. Peace reigned for years, until one day Oclanus allowed his avarice to control him. The gentle yellow mystics with their psychic powers were rejected by General Oclanus as not true magic, and it doesn't belong. They don't belong. Yellow mystics, like the other mystics, were
capable of their own forms that differed from the others, so much so that they started to be shunned from society. They were rounded up and mistreated, suffered by those who deemed them not one of them. They were known as psychics, but over time that name was replaced through discrimination, propaganda, and fear campaigns. They went from gentle helpers to evil demons. They were telepaths, inscribers, farseers, and illusionists. While violence was never truly in their nature, the other mystics believed the lies. The prismatic former friend of General Clonus refused to accept this. He tried to stop Oclanus with the help of every remaining lunar shapeshifter. Oclanus stormed the battlefield with an army of bound yellow mystics. Oclanus learned how to control them through iron. With bound iron, the yellow mystics are helpless. They were forced to do his bidding and fight the prismatic. It was a slaughter. All Oclanus had to do was make his slaves mind control the Lunars, and it did not matter that the Lunars were in their most powerful form due to the perfect synchronization of the 5 moons. The prismatic was crushed by his own forces. Oclanus rewrote history, leaving the greatest battle out of everyone's mind. He was successful in rounding up and forcing into submission every remaining psychic in the world, thus ensuring no more could be made outside of his supervision. Their capital was destroyed and thrust underground into obliteration. The only surviving psychics remained under the tyranny of Oclanus. Having no choice, they were forced to alter the minds of everyone in the world so everyone would always perceive them as demons. The effect was so powerful that no one could perceive the yellow moon. Oclanus built his empire, took over the world, ensured that the demons could only use their powers on his command. The Farseers predicted that in the distant futures another prismatic will rise, and that born within the yellow mystics will be one that, like the prismatic, can use more than one magic. This solid yellow one will be able to see into the minds of others, see into the future, past, and distances, inscribe like no other, and fool the senses on a whim. May the prismatic and their twin free our distant kin in 1,000 years. Second Elder of Psychics, Gwynpo. Jack opened his eyes. He looked at the expecting others. Yellow mystics. 5th moon. I'm supposed to work with Thigh? Jack shook his head. Soon stepped forward, wanting to ask the first question. Jack held up a finger to stop him before he could ask. It's just easier if you read it. He handed Soon the book. This book is about 1,000 years old. One by one, they each in turn read that book. Books, being psychic in nature, made the passing of information instant. After less than 1 minute, they were all caught up and all equally speechless. Eventually, it was Faubriz that broke the silence. The sun is setting low, and while I'm just as shocked as the rest of you, we don't know if we can actually believe it. Jack cocked his head. You read the same thing I did. Yeah, a demon made it, Jack. Yes, I know all books are made by demons. It is true they are held in captivity. Bobriz pointed an accusing finger at Jack. But you, of all people, know how dangerous demons are firsthand. We can't trust anything they say. Obviously, they're desperate to get out of captivity. Kudos for their efforts. I'm not falling for it.
How did you not believe what you just read?
Soon asked. Fobris pointed into the sky. Do you see a 5th moon? Look, they're all out now. Count them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And no, wait. That's it. Just 4.
The book said.
Soon began. Jack cut him off. It doesn't matter. We all saw and read the same thing. We need to focus on here and now. I'll worry about helping them or not later. Let's focus on what we can't deny. Jack looked around to make sure they agreed and stopped arguing prior to continuing. Good. Firstly, it's undeniable that I'm a prismatic. Secondly, it's undeniable that I'm bad at it. Soon cringed, wanting to say words of encouragement. Jack held up a hand to prevent that.
So as far as I'm concerned, that's the top problem right now. I need to learn how to master this stuff. I thought of one way to do that. Jack pointed at the city of Rask. That library. I should have read more books when I had the chance. Something about Elder Drosy just staring at me as I studied was too unnerving. He shook his head. Let's sneak back in and nab every book we can carry. Hide away someplace secluded, learn it all, and then figure out what to do next. El, Jack turned to El, how much longer will you be in this darkling form?
3 more days.
Jack frowned. I don't know if that's enough time.
It's night right now, El said. You won't find me when the sun comes up. I'll have to hide away. That bright orb in the sky burns, dude. If one thing I can be certain of, it's that darklings will never attack in full daylight. They looked at each other.
Go back already? Jack asked.
I'm not going back, Fobris said. I'll wait wherever we camp.
Same,
Soon said. Fobris looked behind them on the other side of the mountain. He frowned. I always knew it was there, but never thought about it.
Thought about what?
Jack asked. He looked and knew the answer. On the other side of the mountain, they saw the darkling territory. Something about that place made it shrouded in darkness. Those creatures could be anywhere in there, at any hour, swarming around, preparing to swarm elsewhere, attack anyone or anything.
Only those deep mountains hold them at bay. One thing is certain. Brutus would not look for us there.
Better to cross the river and avoid that as long as possible, El said. There is a time Weaver Village we could stay at. It's the first one we would encounter if we stayed near the main road.
Jack shook his head. That's also the first place they'll look. No, instead, we infiltrate back into the city tomorrow.
We? Fobers asked.
Me and El. Soon in Fobers, there's no need for you to go with us. In fact, I want you to stay at our camp just on the other side of the mountain. We'll be perfect.
Soon started walking. Fobers joined him. Jack looked at El. Both nodded and walked the opposite direction towards the city. End of chapter 8.